there are wild boars encroaching on your area, property loss can be a big problem. They can range from destroying crops to threatening and killing other animals. They can attack humans in any area they come from. The traps also only partially reduce the wild boar population, so hunting is only one of the basic methods to control the growth of the wild boar population. Let's have a look at the following video. Since then, the invasive range of wild boar has spread to 30 of the 50 states of the United States. Like white-tailed deer, they reproduce and adapt to this environment quickly, causing their population to increase 3 to 5 times. On average, each female wild boar gives birth to about 10 pigs at a time. They can give birth 2 to 3 times a year. Especially effective to kill them despite their long distance. First, you have to know how the wild boar has plagued Texas ranch neighborhoods for years, especially in search of food. How did they destroy the habitat? The front and back lawns of people's houses were destroyed. The puddles on the road were severely damaged. Even the bags of domestic waste were pulled out by them, polluting the environment. You know, not everyone is lucky with roadside pigs. Each year they cause tens of thousands of accidents, in which wild boar and deer are involved. The number of accidents caused by wild boar is about 40%. If you participate in the traffic on the highway, the area where many wild boar live, please pay attention to the speed. This video captures the mass destruction of wild boar in Texas. It is not difficult to think that since the issuance of the directive to hunt wild boar, the state has surrounded each area, cornering them in a certain area so that they can better shoot wild boar when it's dark. It's fun to keep an eye on them from afar. And it's not that the boar easily escapes the weapon's line of sight. In a wide range of situations, and hunting wild boar with pistols is considered the most. Wild boars have very different characteristics from bears. They have a very thick skin. That's why hunters aim to hit the chest to shoot, as they are more likely to cause an instant unconsciousness. In addition, the head is also a point that deals high damage and makes them instantly unconscious. If you are not an experienced hunter, you may be in danger and fail. You will inadvertently make the animals angry, attack you, and you are safe only when you have teammates to support. The power and speed of the wild boar. I'm sure it's something you wouldn't expect. In addition to choosing the best weapon for your wild boar hunting with your highest success rate, it will be more wonderful if you go hunting by helicopter and bring a working dog with you. You see, two men walking their dogs to smell the wild boar in just a few moments. The farmers were able to approach the wild boar and shoot it in the head. Shooting wild boar with a gun. Some of the main positive aspects are farmers and ranchers and ensure the safety of the people in the area. How do you see this hunting? Leave a comment below in the comment section to let us know. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support our channel. Now let us watch the video together.
Hello my friends. Today we are going to large-scale cattle ranching in Australia to see how the process of raising millions of cattle here goes. According to statistics, by the end of 2022 in Australia, there are about 20,000 cattle on cattle farms and about 14,500 mixed beef and sheep farms. The most popular breeds of cattle raised in Australia can be mentioned as Brahman, Hereford Angus, or Murray Grey cattle are currently the majority of cattle ranchers in Australia. Concentrated in states such as Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and Western Australia. The average area of a cattle farm in this country is about 32,000 acres. Herds grew slowly during the early years of settlement in the 1800s. However, Australian farmers took advantage of the land and moved their herds to grazing areas further inland, thereby increasing herd numbers in recent years. The number of calves born in Australia has ranged between 9.5 and 9.8 million a year, and 45% of them are born in Queensland. Most calves will live with their mothers on the farm for about 3 months before weaning. Cows do not have the required amount of milk. Calves will be separated from their mothers earlier, and they will be fed with milk provided by the breeder. Currently, the average herd size in South Australia is around 430 heads, and in the north the average herd size is about 1,600 heads. After about 4 months, the calves will be regularly released into the pasture. Every day, the adult will go with the herd to the large grasslands, and to be able to move the herd stably, the herdsman will need the help of herding dogs. For a herd of about 500 animals, they can travel about 15 miles a day to reach new pastures. Currently, the total area of land used for the grazing in Australia is approximately 831 million acres, including areas used for grazing goats and sheep. After a long journey, the herd will need to be fed before moving on to new pasture, at which point the hay and straw will be used to refuel for the next journey. The length of time a herd will eat on one pasture before moving on to another will depend on a number of fundamental factors, such as the number of cattle in the herd, the size of the pasture, and this is the resilience of a Queensland pasture. Every late afternoon, hundreds of cattle will gather on this small lake area to drink water. On average, an adult cattle needs to drink about 10 to 15 gallons of water per day. There are currently around 11,000 cattle farms in Queensland, with around 10.7 million heads. The head of an annual beef production in the state of about 1.3 million tons in Australia, moving herds from a few dozen to a few hundred animals, always needing the help of herding dogs. Herding dogs and sheepdogs are very intelligent and loyal animals. An estimated 273,000 dogs are currently employed on animal farms in Australia, and around 65% of them are employed on livestock farms. Running a fully fledged herding dog business is something not all livestock owners can do. As a result, many ranchers pre-train dogs to work on their farms. In Australia, there are about 24.7 million heads, and this number includes both dairy and beef cattle. Outside Queensland, New South Wales is also one of the states with the largest cattle herds in the country, with 4.4 million heads. Behind these two states is Victoria, with 3.6 million head. Here's what's going on inside a beef factory in Australia. About 8.3 million cows are processed each year. And the annual beef production of the country ranges from 2.3 to 2.7 million tons. Currently, up to 70% of beef production in Australia is exported to other countries, and the remaining 30% is consumed domestically. The majority of cattle in Australia are raised by grazing, so the quality of Australian beef is always appreciated by consumers around the world.
Baboons are typical wild animals in savanna, Africa, but human development and urbanization have led to the shrinkage of their habitat. At this point, you can guess the state of the relationship between humans and baboons is not good. So why are they made enemies of the people of Cape Town? The lack of food sources due to the shrinking of wild habitats has forced them to look for food elsewhere, especially finding ways to attack cities to survive. From there, it leads to bold acts of encroaching on residential areas and robbing people of their belongings. Are you curious how baboons fill their hungry stomachs? First, they use their keen sense of smell to sniff food from afar. When they discover food, they will use their claws and agility to sneak into people's houses to steal. They broke trash cans and stole fruits and vegetables from inside the house. They often take the opportunity to roam in residential areas and scavenge, eating whatever they can. These baboons many times bring a lot of trouble to residents and tourists. Every year, the baboon crisis causes millions of dollars in damage to tourist areas. The number of visitors to Cape Town has also decreased significantly due to their attacks. Not only do they affect housing areas, but they also pose a danger to people when participating in vehicles. Peter told me that last week he, his wife, and his 3-year-old daughter were traveling by the beach and a horrifying scene happened. The baboon suddenly climbed into their car, causing his daughter to panic and cry. This is just one of many cases where they rob people while walking on the street. Every year, this looting causes great damage to property and security. Not only stealing things, baboons also show unusual aggression when being chased and beaten. This poses a major problem for the U.S. government in controlling the number of invasive baboons that affect the safety of people in urban areas. To deal with invasive baboons, do you know what people in the savannah area have prepared for this exciting hunting journey? Professional hunters often choose forested areas with many trees because this provides hiding places for baboons. This position also helps hunters easily defeat them. First, they set up canvas tents using leaves to cover the tent, creating a natural look and hiding the hunter's hiding place. In particular, prepare lots of fresh fruit to attract them to create a highly effective hunting session. In this video, I will tell you a real story of Aiden's bow and arrow hunting journey. You will see the difference in using hunting equipment and bows. On a remote hill in the African wilderness, Aiden, holding his bow and arrow, was sitting quietly in the darkness of the tent he had prepared earlier. Aiden saw the silhouette of a large group of baboons approaching. He quickly drew his bow and aimed to take down the target. An alpha baboon was knocked down while they were eating fruit previously prepared by Aiden. Therefore, bait preparation is very important in defeating this invasive animal. During the hunting expedition in the Baviaanskloof wilderness, the hunting group carefully prepared by confirming the accuracy of the hunting equipment at a distance of 164 feet before starting. Using a special hunting magazine for slug pills has helped avoid jams. During the hunt, the hunting group encountered difficulties when the ground was covered with leaves and the wind conditions changed. However, patience and skill helped them achieve quick, accurate hunting tool sites. Using hunting gear of different weights allowed them to deal with baboons in different terrains. Finally, although the hunting journey had ended, the hunting team was excited for the next hunting experience. After defeating the baboon, the hunter saw an image of the baboon fainting on the ground. This feature is described as an old baboon of high status in the monkey group, with large, worn canine teeth. In my opinion, sterilization is better than hunting because it helps maintain natural balance and does not negatively affect wildlife populations. The sterilization procedure is an important method in population control and wildlife management. This procedure is aimed at stopping baboon reproduction like surgery. In it, the animal's gonads are removed, preventing the ability to reproduce. However, the sterilization process also sometimes causes ethical controversy and affects their natural reproduction. For baboons, sterilization needs to be done carefully to ensure it does not impact the ecosystem and to carefully consider factors such as biodiversity and population management. Due to opposition from wildlife conservationists, their extermination was met with strong opposition. Conservationists say that baboons have lived on this land for millions of years and killing them is inhumane. Therefore, after completing the sterilization process of baboons, the U.S. government will return them to conservation areas to protect and maintain the existence of this species in the natural environment. Experts will check their health to ensure that they are healthy enough to adapt and live in the new environment. The health check includes medical tests, nutritional checks, and identifying any health problems they may have. This helps ensure that the baboons receive the best possible care and have the opportunity to live a natural and healthy life. After applying the above countermeasures, according to the United States Department of Agriculture (USDA), the number of baboons killed with hunting tools decreased from 4,700 in 2017 to 2,200 in 2022. In Texas, the number of baboons taken down with bows and arrows has increased, reduced from 421 in 2017 to 24 in 2022. These numbers show that the application of hunting countermeasures is the most effective. However, this action is opposed by some people. What do you think about the numbers the U.S. government has achieved in controlling the baboon population? Is your area affected by baboons? Comment 1 if your city is also affected by this invasive species. Comment 0 if your area is free of invasive species. Thank you for watching the entire video. Like and click the subscribe button to watch the latest videos on measures to deal with invasive species.
Sparrows, although not known for their flashy appearance, are becoming one of the major disasters for farmers in the United States. This omnivorous bird not only favors seeds, but also enjoys a variety of foods, from grains to fruits and vegetables. Of particular concern to farmers. However, they also have the ability to eat seeds and grains as soon as they are planted in the ground, leaving the crop without a chance to germinate. Sparrows are the most common bird species in the United States and are causing heavy damage to the agricultural industry, especially in planting and harvesting. This is one of the birds that farmers do not want to encounter, not because of their flashy appearance, but because of their seed-eating habits. Knit traps and glue traps have become familiar tools in the fight against sparrows. Placing these traps in areas where birds commonly appear can be effective in persecuting sparrows. Depending on state laws, many places allow sparrow hunting as means of controlling the species. However, regulations and limits need to be followed to protect the sustainability of this bird. Hunting sparrows is one of the accepted control measures for this species in many U.S. states. However, this requires compliance with regulations and limits to protect the sustainability of this bird. May not be on the list of fiercest wars in history, but for farmers in the United States, It is a fierce battle. By combining traditional countermeasures and using advanced technology, farmers hope to protect their crops from the destructive hands of sparrows. It is not a military war, but this war is still taking place on the fields of America. Pigeons, with their large appearance and diverse diet, have become a source of concern for farmers in the United States. This bird not only causes a nuisance, but also possesses a potential risk of great damage to the agriculture and crops of many people. Pigeons aren't small creatures. We often see them around the city parks. They are large and capable of consuming a significant amount of food at one time. Seeds and grains such as wheat, corn, and oats are their favorites, and this makes them a major threat to farmers' crops. Regardless of whether the crop has just been planted in the ground or is in the growing stage, pigeons do not hesitate to germinate potential opportunities for farmers' crops. Farmers have had to devise many countermeasures to protect their crops from pigeon intrusion. One of the simplest but effective measures is to use net traps. Net traps help farmers catch pigeons easily and effectively. Additionally, some U.S. states allow pigeon hunting legally. Pigeon hunting is not only a recreational activity, but also a means of controlling the number of the species in the world. This is especially important in areas where pigeons have become so common that they can harm agriculture. The war against pigeons is being waged across American agriculture. Farmers are consistently looking for and applying countermeasures such as net trapping and hunting to protect their crops from the threat of pigeons. With intelligence and creativity, they hope that they can maintain agricultural prosperity and prevent pigeons from becoming a serious threat to this economy. Quails, despite their small size, they're very attracted to pastures and grain fields. They mainly eat seeds and grains, such as wheat, corn, and soybeans. These crops are often targeted by quails, and they may eat them as soon as they are planted in the ground. When precious seeds are eaten by them, farmers' crops can be seriously threatened. Farmers are facing the challenge of controlling quails. Although these birds are small, they can cause great damage to agriculture. Therefore, effective control measures are needed to protect plants and crops. Net traps and glue traps are commonly used methods to catch quails. However, for this bird, catching wild traps isn't always effective because they can run fast and they can move quickly. Additionally, quail hunting is also allowed and even part of the hunting culture in many American states. Hunting can help control quail populations in the wild and minimize their impact on crops. Another measure is to grow plants that taste unpleasant to quails, such as chili peppers, lemongrass, and mint. These plants can keep quails away from main crop areas. Finally, using advanced technology such as drones, motion detectors can help farmers detect and repel quail more effectively. Drones are capable of scanning large nets, looking for areas where quail often appear. This helps farmers understand the situation and can take appropriate control measures. Thanks to the combination of technology and traditional methods, farmers have the opportunity to more effectively control the number of quails that harm their crops and agriculture. However, this still requires patience and regular care to ensure that birds do not cause serious damage to crop yields. However, controlling birds that destroy crops isn't an easy task and requires the coordination of many parties, including farmers, authorities, and communities. Only through cooperation and the use of measures can we successfully deal with the quail threat and protect our agriculture. So tell me, do you have any of these invasive birds around your area? What measures do you use to deal with them? Please comment below to let us know.
A shocking incident occurred in 2021 when a herd of wild boars invaded a corn farm in Kentucky. This was an attack that not only caused extensive damage to the farm but also posed a serious problem in terms of management and control of the wild boar population. The feral pigs devastated more than 200 acres of corn, causing approximately $2 million in property damage. Literally all the corn fields were destroyed by wild boars. They destroy crops by digging into the soil, eating plants, and trampling on remaining plants. The large holes in the ground they dug caused serious destruction, and a large amount of corn was consumed. On a national scale, damage caused by wild boars to agriculture is estimated to amount to billions of dollars each year. According to the U.S. Natural Resources Services Administration, in 2022, this damage has reached an estimated figure of $2.5 billion, an alarming figure. Wild boars have become a major threat to agriculture and require cooperation between governments, regulation agencies, and farmers to find effective solutions to control wild boar populations and minimize losses that are pretty harmful. Field hunting of feral hogs is an important method of controlling feral hog populations in the United States. Wild boars are often attracted to corn and wheat fields, as they often form large herds, creating favorable conditions for jam lovers. However, to ensure safety and efficiency in wild boar hunting, it is necessary to comply with rules and quality measures. According to estimates by the U.S. Natural Resources Services Administration, about 1 million feral hogs are hunted in the field in the United States each year, representing a significant portion of the total wild hog population hunted in the field. This country points to the importance of wild boar hunting in controlling their populations. There are about 2 million wild boar hunters in the United States, and a large portion of them are Americans. This shows the popularity and interest in feral pig control. However, to ensure safety and effectiveness in hunting, hunters need to follow some rules and take specific measures. Hunting wild boar in the field requires the use of highly accurate guns to ensure accuracy and target shooting and avoid endangering people or other animals. Using hunting dogs to search for wild boars in bushes and tall grass is also an important measure. Hunting wild boars during the day helps to see the target more clearly and increases safety in identifying targets to shoot. At the same time, hunting in groups is also an important measure. By having a team organized in the field, hunters can maximize visibility, detection, and ensure safety during the hunt. Hunting as a team in the field offers many benefits. It increases the likelihood of wild boar sighting by sharing responsibility and covering more areas. Hunters also have the ability to coordinate actions to increase their chances of spotting wild boars and reduce the risk of injuries. However, when hunting in teams in the field, it is necessary to follow safety rules and communicate clearly. This ensures that everyone in the squad always knows each other's location, uses calls or signals to communicate, and never fires when they're unsure of their targets. Additionally, being careful when moving around the hunting area is important to ensure the safety of everyone in the team. According to estimates by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the escape of approximately 1 million feral hogs into the wilderness in the United States each year represents a significant challenge to wildlife management. This number accounts for about 20% of all feral hogs hunted in the United States. When these pigs are released into the wild, they often have an invasive behavior during hunting activities and seek refuge in the forest. They tend to wait for darkness to set in before venturing out in search of food. Their natural survival instincts drive them to seek refuge in densely wooded areas, such as forests, where they can find protective cover and avoid detection. Wild boars hunting in the United States is a popular and an important activity in controlling wild boars populations, which are harmful to agriculture and the environment. Wild boars often gather in large herds and live in dense forest environments, creating favorable conditions for hunters. When participating in wild boar hunting activities in the forest, hunters often use a number of different methods. The most common method is using hunting gears. Hunting tools can provide long range and high accuracy. However, safety regulations should be followed when using them. Wild boars hunting time is also an important factor. Wild boars are usually active at night, so hunting during the day is a good choice. However, hunting at night can also be more dangerous, so it is necessary to use appropriate safety equipment such as infrared lighting. Hunting wild boars in groups in the forest has many advantages. By sharing responsibilities, hunters can cover more areas and increase their chances of finding wild boars. Additionally, when there are multiple hunters, they can support each other and minimize the risk of injuries. Hunting wild boars in the forest is an effective method to control the wild boars population and protect the environment. Hunting wild boars nowadays is becoming more and more difficult as the population is increasing rapidly. There are many other measures to prevent invasive wild boar populations. Now let's see more in some other areas.